Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. This is not a podcast. This is just my thoughts with Rob Markman. All right. Drake and Party Next Door dropped their album, Some Sexy Songs for You. Came out yesterday on Valentine's Day. My video is here. It's here. People have been asking. I've seen people online kind of like suggesting that I wasn't being fair because I wasn't posting about the Drake album. First of all, I'm glad that y'all want to hear from me, man. It is truly a blessing. For one, I was busy as hell yesterday. I had a ton of work. A lot of y'all know that I also hold down the role at Genius. I had a ton of work yesterday, and also then the Jay-Z case came to an end, and I did a video about that. That was breaking news. That felt more important. But I was also glad because I waited, because I got a chance to listen to the Drake Party album a few times. Going into it, I was thinking to myself, how can I listen to this album and judge it fairly? Because I want to be fair. I want to be as fair as possible. This is about the music. To me, this isn't about like who your favorite is or whatever. Of course, we all have biases. We all have favorites. We're all fans of things. But I really try to approach things fair. So I was like, how can I judge this fair? Could I block out everything that happened between Drake and Kendrick and just listen to this album and take it for what it is, take it as the artist intended it to be taken, right? Drake and Party. Like, just take it for what it is. Take it for what they're giving us. And that's hard to do for a few reasons, right? Like, admittedly, that's hard to do. I know y'all have the same difficulty. But, I mean, we're coming off the Grammys and the Super Bowl. Not Like Us might be the number one record in the country again next week. Luther might be number 2. It's Kendrick's time. Like it or not, it's Kendrick's time. So this album coming out right when Dot is having a huge moment forces us to collide with that, right? And the release date is a choice. The other real thing is the references that Drake makes to Kendrick and the battle on this album just make it impossible. But, we're going to try. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to get into it, man. We're going to talk. This might be a long one, man, but I'm going to try to get through it. So from the jump, I asked myself, who is this album for, right? Who is the for you in the title? Some sexy songs for you. Who's the you? For his and Party's hardcore fans, for sure. But even more specifically, it's for the women. Like, I don't think that they were in the studio. I know they weren't in the studio saying, yo, we're going to make some sexy songs for Rob. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but this is what I'm thinking as I'm listening to it. Okay, this wasn't made with me in mind or the type of fan that I am. When they're in the studio, they're thinking of the women. And that's what we go in with. That's the expectation I went in with. So, CNN Tower, good intro on that level. Good intro. It's not Tuscan Leather type intro. Again, if they went in and thinking, damn, what would Rob like? What would somebody like Rob like? I'm also not so full of myself. Nobody's going to the studio thinking that. But what I'm saying is, somebody like me, a fan like me, what would a fan like me like, right? He's going in the studio and the intro was like Tuscan Leather. You know what I mean? Which is probably my favorite Drake intro of all time. So you hear CNN Tower. It's a good intro. And then especially when you wrap up, this is for the women. This is what it's aimed for, right? The intro tells you so much about an album. So, it's Drake going in talking to the women, but it's also familiar conversation, right? Some lyrics. I don't have your contact anymore. You blocked me. I lost you. It's a back and forth. Think I even hit your email as a last resort. Did you really read the message that I sent before? Thought I laid that shit out perfect. Put it on the floor. Put it on my son. I put it on the Lord. What else can I swear on, girl? There's nothing more. Why did you cut this thing off like you had something more? Because I just asked around. Your friends can't hold water, girl. They'd rather see you drown. No, they tell me everything when I end up downtown. Cool intro. Musically, cool intro. Familiar story. It's nothing new. We've heard this story before, right? Like Drake lost the girl. He's trying to get back with the girl. When I come back to the town, I hear stories about you and the things that you did while I was away, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like we've kind of heard this before. So very familiar. I like Mothballs. The song is nostalgia. If you've been listening to Drake and Party and been a fan, this fits squarely in what made you a fan. Though some of this shit is like, man, are you okay? Like some of the shit I listen to, like, I mean, he starts off, I've been peeking off that Addy every day. It's been hard for me to put that shit away. Drinking 4 or 5 bottles of wine. Got a glass in my hand every time. I got the worst reputation in our town. I've been seen with all the baddest hoes around. First of all, 4 to 5 bottles of wine a day. It's like peeking off the Addy every day. It's been hard for me to put that shit away. It's like, bro, you going through something? Like, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's familiar territory, right? It's Heartbreak Drake. Like this is the thing that there's a lot of nostalgia here. It's the thing that has worked, that has made people fans. This is what they're leaning in on the album. Raining in Houston, familiar territory. That shit that you love from Drake. He been paying homage to Houston and Screw since So Far Gone, maybe before. So I mean, this is years and years of squarely, solely in the middle of music that he's been giving us. Somebody Loves Me is good. It's familiar. Celibacy is cool. I like the little intro was funny that they used where they sample old girl talking about, that if it's been a week, it's not celibacy. I thought Greedy was good. I thought that outro where they sing, the more I get, the more I want. I'm greedy for your loving, baby. Like that whole just back and forth that they're singing gave me like Jodeci inspired 90s vibe. I wish we could actually have like peak Jodeci sing that, because obviously, and this is not a diss to Drake or Party, but they sing, but they're not vocal. When we talk about peak Jodeci, it's a different level of vocal power, right? So like hearing those words, hearing that melody, hearing how it goes, I was like, I wonder how that would sound if we had peak Jodeci sing that, particularly that outro. I don't know AI like that. I got to learn how to use AI. But anybody out there who knows AI, who could AI that and put Jodeci's voice, but peak Jodeci's voice singing that outro, the more I get, the more I want. I'm greedy for your loving, baby. I thought like it sounded like it reminded me of a Jodeci record. I like Nokia. It's like fun. It's weird and fun, and I'm just not mad at Nokia. I just wish someone else was doing the hook. I just need a different voice, a different tone. Elkin, the producer, did the hook, and I'm sure he wrote it. And it's no disrespect to him, because I think it's actually a fun song. It's a good song for what it is. I just wish there was a different voice or a different tone on it. I wonder how that would sound. So I'm just like, cool. You know what I'm saying? At the heart of this album is giving you something familiar. Is catering to the bass. It's Heartbreak Drake. It's OVO lifestyle music. It does feel less like a collab album and kind of feels like Drake featuring Party, but cool. And I'm being fair. And y'all know me. I never try to be mean with any critique at all. Like, I know what it's like to go in and make music. Obviously, my music is not on the popularity level, the success level. The expectation is nowhere nearly the same as a Drake has when Drake puts out his music. So, I'm self-aware. But I know how hard it is to go out and put out music and then share that to the world, right? So I never try to be mean with any critique. I could say that I like something, I don't like something. I got to be honest about it. I never try to like beat somebody down. But that Meet Your Padre song is one of the worst songs I ever heard. Like, if I'm just being real, it's just not good. And Drake has done Spanish songs in the past that have hit before. Mia with Bad Bunny hit and resonated. Odeo with Romeo Santos, that big record. Like, what I'm saying? My wife still plays that record, what I'm saying? If I'm being honest, like, to this day, it's a big record. That when Drake collabed with Romeo, that was big. His Spanish was never great, but it worked. It fit, and it worked for the record, and it fit. And I think, he made some dope records. My Spanish isn't great, so again, I'm not criticizing. But those songs hit. This Meet Your Padre, it sounds like a parody to me. I can't. It sounds like an SNL skit a bit. And we know that Chino Podcast is signed with Chubbs in some capacity, so there's some business there, there's some connection there. But this song isn't it. And to me, neither was the song that Drake had did on Chino's album. Like, it just is starting to sound like weird parody. And maybe, first of all, it just doesn't sound good regardless to me. But also the perception changed after Within. You know what? I'm not even gonna talk about. I'm not even gonna go there. regardless of what the perception is, I just don't think it's a great song. So then we get to Give Me a Hug, right? Because again, I'm trying to be fair here, right? Then we get to Give Me a Hug. And really trying to treat this album like its own thing. Put the art before anything. Put the music before anything. And of course, public perception is a reality. But before anything, is the music good? My answer to that is it's cool, it's familiar, it's Drake, it's cool. But then we get to Give Me a Hug, and there's shots on the record. And this is absolutely the most aggressive joint on the album. Here's where he's addressing what's going on right now. His feelings of what's going on right now. And again, you have to consider who he's talking to, right? The record's called Give Me a Hug. So he's not talking to me. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to the women. Again, it falls in line, right? He's talking to the women. You got to treat it as such. He's talking to the strippers specifically. This song takes place in the strip club to me. I hear this song and when I imagine where a video might take place, it's in the strip club. He walks in and he's telling the girls he knows who are dancing and they're all friends and whatever. And he's talking to them and he's catching them up on life and how he's, hey, man, how you feeling about that thing? Hey, don't sweat that thing. Hey, man, they can never be as great as you. Hey, and this is his response. And there's guys in there, too. There's the DJ, there's the bouncers, you know what I'm saying? You know, the club owners and just other guys hanging out who live that same lifestyle. But to me, he's talking to the women, the strippers, and he's just giving them an update. And we're listening in on the conversation. We are eavesdropping on the conversation. I'm not in the strip club. I'm not a strip club guy who frequents regularly. So I'm eavesdropping in on the conversation. And it's really a record for his most diehard fans, the ones that for them Drake can do no wrong, right? So you start off right away. Yeah, Drake elimination, fake intimidation. Take a minute, take a deep breath, have a little patience. And then it's Drizzy, you're amazing. You're the inspiration. You set the bar for the next generation. He's speaking in third person, right? Drizzy, you're amazing. This is what they're telling him. This is what the people in the strip club, this is what the fans online, this is what the strip club is telling him, the places that he frequent. Drizzy, you're amazing. You're the inspiration. You set the bar for the next generation. And there's absolute truth to him being an inspiration. There is absolute truth. He set the bar for an entire generation musically. There is absolute and undeniable truth there. But the tone of this is just like fans gushing over him. You know what I'm saying? You Neo in the Matrix. These others just Nemo in the ocean. Small fish making kids feel emotion. Using you for promotion. Truer words have never been spoken. Just want to see rip me on the t-shirt like I'm Hulk Hogan. So the RIP, but Hulk Hogan also rips his shirt. All right, so they're small fish. They're not as big as him. I mean, if we're talking about Kendrick is not a small fish, dog. Like, you dealing with somebody who, even if your numbers are higher, you're dealing with somebody who's on the same tier as you. He might have got away with that small fish when it came to Pusha T. And again, Pusha T beat him in the battle, and then how you dismiss that is like, he don't sell no records. He's not touring. He's not. All right, cool. But lyrically, he got you. Okay, yeah, but he don't stream like I stream. He Okay, so you can get away with like Pusha, though their battle was historic, and again, Pusha won. If you're looking career wise and the accolades, they're not on the same tier. When you're talking about Kendrick, no matter what the variation is in the number, you are dealing with somebody who is on the A1 commercial successful tier. So the small fish thing don't add up. They just Nemo in the ocean. They small fish. The using you for promotion is just another fan narrative, right? That Dot's success is solely due to Drake. And like Kendrick wasn't successful before this thing. But, you know, this is what's going on. This is what the fans are telling him. Like, and if you see online, you see this narrative, right? But so it goes on. And he says, I appreciate the fans rocking with me. This is really just a small token. So again, he's talking to his most diehards, right? Really fucking with a visionary. Only reason I ain't got a girl and I ain't getting married because I'm really out here filling up the itinerary till I'm 6 feet in the cemetery. Here he is responding to criticism of him needing to settle down, to give us something different in the music, to give us more substance. Again, this album, to me, and we'll get to it when I wrap it up at the end, but it's cool. It's more the same. There's a lot of familiar tropes. There's a lot of familiar themes. There's a lot of familiar stories going on. And Drake knows this, and he's addressing this. Okay, yeah, I'm not settling down. I don't got a girl. I ain't getting married. because I'm really out here filling up the itinerary. Like I'm busy getting this work. You know what I'm saying? So he hears the criticism and that's his response to it. Bulletproof door so heavy, got me rolling around like a dignitary. Funny how it's only bitches that are waiting on the boy's obituary. Okay, now we getting to something. Because if I die, it's these that become the sole beneficiary. And what the fuck are they going to do with it? Had the girls up at 29 on stage twerking with a dictionary? Cool bar. This is the most quoted bar. This is the thing that has gone viral. You drop the whole album, some sexy songs for you. And the thing that starts to go viral are the bars aimed at Kendrick, the bars that deal with the aftermath or whatever this battle was. So the girls up at 29 on stage twerking with a dictionary. Area 29 strip club in Houston. Again, it goes back to my strip club theory. The song is called Give Me a Hug. Who is he talking to? He's talking to the strippers. That dictionary line to me is an extension of the Free the Slaves line. He rapping like he's trying to free the slaves. You know, the criticism is that the women don't want music celebrating blackness, or women don't want music that inspires them to think, or to code lyrics, or music that challenges them. In Drake's world, maybe that's true. In the strip club, yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe though, I don't know. Squabble Up can go off in the strip club. Like, not like us might go off in the strip club, but for by and large, right? Maybe that's true. It isn't the setting. But fans, women, people clearly want to hear that type of music as well, because Kendrick wouldn't be on top right now. If the women didn't want to hear that music, it might not be the strippers in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you kind of look at that type of music, Drake has far more records that fit in that setting than Kendrick does. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, okay, yeah, maybe in Area 29, yeah, who's gonna be on stage twerking with a dictionary? But that's not the whole world. That's my point. That's what I'm getting at. If people didn't want, you keep dismissing, like people don't want to hear what Kendrick has to offer, and if they didn't want to hear about it, he wouldn't be on top right now. It's not just men supporting Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? All the women who are watching right now, you know, let it be known. I would love to hear what y'all preference is when it comes to music. Or is there a time and place for everything? Yeah, when I'm in the strip club, maybe I'm not trying to hear that. But when I wake up the next morning and I'm cleaning the house, or you know, I need something to get me motivated to go figure out what my career is after stripping, and I'm reading books and I'm learning business and I'm getting my degree, then maybe that's the soundtrack. I don't know. I would love to hear from the women. But that line is trying to belittle Kendrick, and it comes off to me as tone deaf. Like, dude, do you not see what is happening right now? There is a shift happening, and dude is on top. He absolutely has his moment, and you're putting yourself, again, square in the middle of it. He talks about guilt trips, not Turks trips, when it's cold out here in February, because right now, shorty parachuting Molly like she flying for the military. The girl face so pretty, I can only think of fucking missionary. All right, so she's popping Molly, she's doing this, whatever, right? So this whole song is an issue for me on this album. And I love when Drake raps. I'm a fan of anything. I'm a fan of the bars that Drake has. The Timestamp Records, 4 p.m. in Calabasas, Tuscan Leather. I'm a fan of when he's rapping, man. The records he's you know, been doing with Conductor. But the album is timed horribly, coming out right after the Super Bowl, after Dot's moment. It kind of, but aside from it being timed horribly, the subject matter, some sexy songs for you, kind of tells me that you're ready to move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, the lack of aggression in this album, who you're speaking to the women. It kind of tells me you're ready to move on. But then you're still popping shit. So that's the part that's confusion. That's the part that's an issue for me with this album, because I really, before I press play, I said, yo, let me try to divorce this from what's going on and take it from what it is. And I'm really trying to do that, but then you're popping shit on the album. So it pulls me as a listener, it pulls me right back in. So when I'm trying to give this album the benefit of the doubt and judge it on its own merit, Drake forces us to consider Kendrick when listening. And it's just like, bro, that's just a battle that you lost. It's a battle that you're not going to win. Why do you keep forcing us to consider Kendrick? Like, you know? And I don't think he was thinking about it super deeply like that. And the fact is, and I've said this before, rap beefs never come to a screeching halt. It never just stops. Jay-Z's Blueprint 2 song versus Nas came out, a year after Ether. So these things never come to a screeching halt. We're going to hear references for a while. But I think if your aim for the album was to talk to the women, give us some nostalgia, remind people, give people the thing that they classically loved from you, then this song is a distraction from it. This song strays from the mission because it forces us to consider Kendrick. All right, so there's more lyrics, right? The beat switches. He says, fuck that, make the beat switch, turn the hoes up, give $1 million to him. Right now, I got so many villas booked, I'm looking like a villain to him. So again, it just shows you where his mind's at. Fuck that, make the beat switch, turn the hoes up. Hey, I don't want to think about this shit either, man. Oh, man, turn the hoes up, man. Give him $1 million. Like, it's escapism, trying to escape from what is going on right now. But that's the difference, saying turn the hoes up, give $1 million to him. I don't think that's Dot's mission. He has this other line, Dirk's boy told me Marvin's Room was his favorite song. He was drilling to it. 1,000 is rapping murder shit, and like 10 that really do it. I like Marvin's Room too. But damn, dog, ain't Dirk on trial? I would not mention Dirk. I wouldn't mention Dirk's boys. I wouldn't mention drilling at all in the same sentence. I'm like, why are we saying that? Why? Savage, you the only checking on me when we really in some shit, brother. Melissa Ford, you a legend from the 6. Hate to see you with a dick sucker. Okay, that's a Joe Budden shot, right? Melissa Ford is Joe Budden's co-host. Melissa Ford is from Canada. I think she's from Toronto. If she's not from Toronto, I feel like she's like from the outskirts, like the greater Toronto area. But definitely Canadian. Shout out to Melissa Ford. Melissa Ford. Oh no, from the 6. You're a legend from the 6. So she's from Toronto, right? Confirmed. Melissa Ford, you a legend from the 6. Hate to see you with a dick sucker. Joe Budden shot. Because he's not talking about Ish or Ice or Parks or Flip or Imani or Mark Lamont or, what I'm saying? They got like a whole cast of it's like the Avengers on that thing. They got like a whole cast. They got a whole superhero team. But Joe Budden shot. Clear. So on one hand, I get it to the degree that Joe, he be going in on Drake. Like Joe is not just going to tell you that he don't like your shit. He going to be disrespectful about it. Especially when it comes for Drake, because there's history there. There's a personal history there that I didn't take notes on. Like in my head, I know it, but I don't want to misspeak. I don't completely understand like where it started and where it ended. But, there was a time when Joe was aiming multiple records squarely at Drake. Drake responded with a line or two. There's history here. Joe felt there were shots at him at 4 p.m. in Calabasas. I know at one point Joe dropped Making of a Murderer Part 1. Drake said something on French Montana, there's no shopping record. Joe had Afraid. Joe had Wake. There was a couple of records. It's a list. So there's history there. That there's the thing with Tahiri. I don't really know the details there. So there's a history, right? And I may be getting the timeline fucked up. So don't take my word for law. But if you get anything out, what I'm saying is there's a history between Drake and Joe. And it's been back and forth. Then they seem to kind of make up. I know they were like on FaceTime one time and the whole pool party, IG Live shit. But it's been like some frenemy shit. Anyway, Joe gets a shot. Like also last week, Joe called him a corpse. All of this. Anyway, Joe gets a shot. So the funny thing is, what if Joe decides to come out of retirement and respond? I don't know that he would, but that'd be something to see, right? What if? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Then we get some more lyrics. They be dropping shit, but we be dropping harder shit. Fuck a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit. Trying to get the party lit for the bitches. Them night tights is hugging on that ass like they missed it. Okay, so it's dismissive about the beef. He kind of introduces the beef a little bit, pokes at it a little bit, then fuck a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit. Just being real, just being objective. I'm trying, right? He did not drop the harder record. Right now, Kendrick is dropping the hardest shit. I think a reasonable person can admit it. If you're like a diehard, it might be hard for you to admit. But if you are looking objectively at the playing field of what's going on right now, they be dropping hardest shit. They be dropping shit, but we be dropping hardest shit. Fuck a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit. Right now, Kendrick is dropping the harder records. objectively speaking, right? But you know, he starts deflecting. Fuck a rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit. That fuck a rap beef shit is like man, you were engaging at the time heavily. You were begging Kendrick to drop. You severely underestimated him. You were begging him to drop. There were the memes, there were the comments on IG, begging him to drop, and he dropped a nuke. You know what I'm saying? And let's be real. You know, I'm trying to get the party lit for the bitches. The bitches love Not Like Us. Not Like Us did not go number one for as many weeks as it did because just men liked it. The bitches, you know what I'm saying? And I use that in quotation because I really don't use that word to refer to women. But the bitches love Not Like Us. This right here is just denial. This is like, what world are you living in? But also, the strip club is its own world, right? Like, you kind of go into the strip club and it's its own thing. So again, it kind of falls in line. Anyway, he goes on later and says, and this is hating the boys for sure. The women in love, walk in the strip club. Damn, I miss you hoes. Give me a hug, 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 give me a hug. Again, the strip club is a different world. The song is for the women. He's not talking to us. He's not talking to the guys. He's talking to the women in the strip club. And that's a valid audience. I'm not taking that away, but that's not the whole world. And in hip hop, we have this narrative that if it isn't popping in the club, if it ain't in the club, then it's not valid. And that's just not true. And that's never been true. We've heard it before. Oh, shit ain't popping in the club. Oh, we don't play that in the strip club. We don't. Okay, but they play it everywhere else. I don't know. I haven't been in the strip club. Do they play Not Like Us in the strip club? I'd imagine it gets played in the strip club. And even if it doesn't, so what? It got played everywhere else. You know, and Doc got hits. You know, he got shit that moved the crowd. Like, we got to stop this narrative. As much as Drake, no. But again, that was never Dot's aim. So Kendrick did it his way, and he's on top. And to me, this record is just denial. Like, Drake can't fathom Kendrick being on top and having a moment. He can't figure out the why. So you go to the strip club where it's comfortable. You go back to where it's comfortable because you're covered by that. Because in that world, they validate what just happened. Then there's the Aaron Hall Beat Switch, I Miss You, classic record. Aaron Hall, I Miss You, classic record. That video was classic, powerful video. If you've never seen it, look it up. When it dropped in the 90s, I remember when it dropped in the 90s, before social media, before on demand, before YouTube, it was the thing that anybody could talk about. I remember sitting with my sister, like, watching Video Soul with Donnie Simpson, and she's like, yo, call me. I'm in the kitchen making something to eat, but call me when they play the new Aaron Hall video. Love that record. I love the idea of sampling the record. I didn't love the execution of it. It just came, like, very abrupt. It almost didn't feel like it fit. But I think the girls will like it. And also sampling Aaron Hall right now with his history. I wonder what that fan narrative is going to be after that, but I'll let y'all have that. Let's move on. Brian Steele is a record named after Young Thug's lawyer. Of course, most of us knew that. For those that don't know, you know, whole theme of the record is pussy so good that I should be inside. Again, he's talking to the women. It's given as long as my bitches love me. Remember when Lil Wayne and Drake dropped that record? I give a fuck about these long as my bitches love me. Like this whole album is given as long as my bitches love me. It's like, all right, there's a lot of smoke outside. There's a lot of this, man. But as long as the women love me, I'm cool. This whole album feels like that could have been an alternate name for the album. As long as my bitches love me. And then we got another lyric on here where he says, Broski just hit me and said, put all the beef on the side. I can't. I'm heated now. Just want to meet up, talk about shit. I'm vegan now. So he addresses it. There's also, and I forget what song, I forgot to make a note, but he also makes a Not Like Us reference on one of the R&B songs. Look, so I tried to divorce this album from the beef. It's just not possible. The album, to me, if I'm being fair, all things considered, is a 3-mic album to me. If this was the Source days. If I was back in XXL when I used to rate albums at XXL, it's an L. It's a large, not an L like a loss. Back in XXL, we used to rate albums S, small, medium, large, XL, XXL. This album is an L to me. It's a large. it's cool. There's familiar things that we like. There's nostalgia. There's not a lot that pushes the creative or advances Drake's story. It's not a lot of like growth, but it's good. It's like going to your favorite restaurant. This is my analogy. It's like going to your favorite restaurant and ordering your favorite dish, right? First time you had it, it hit crazy. This is the best meal you ever had. Holy shit. Everybody has to try this. I have to put all my friends on. But by the 10th time, it's still good. And it's still your favorite dish. I still like it. But it don't hit the same. You know what I'm saying? I think 21 tracks is too long. There was a lot that could have came off of this. I think he could have taken it down to 12 or 13. The Give Me a Hug sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's kind of like, man, if you're going to engage, then engage for real. If not, maybe start to leave this alone. You know what I'm saying? Drake fans criticize Kendrick for milking it, though he's only performed the record twice. But if Kendrick is milking it, Drake either has to deliver something more potent when the subject comes up, or leave it alone, start to move on from it. This album is cool. It's a good album, right? The Drake fans will love it. If you're looking for something more or different or that pushes the envelope, this just isn't for you. And it wasn't meant for you. You're not the For You in the title. But if we're judging fairly, I say 3 mics from a guy that has given us classics in the same vein. Again, it's a dish. It's a dish that is your favorite dish. It's an amazing dish. To me, it just don't hit the same like it hit the first time. Like it hit on So Far Gone. Like it hit on Take Care. Like it hit on If You're Reading This. Like it hit on Nothing Was the Same. Like it hit on Views. Like it hit, you know what I'm saying? Like he's had instances where you know the ingredients just meshed together and the shit was just like, oh man, it's the best meal I ever had. Now, and also it feels like Drake featuring Party. It doesn't necessarily feel like a collab album to me. Now, also the thing that he may say is, well, nah, this was just the appetizer. This wasn't the meal. This was the appetizer, and my next solo album is gonna be the thing. And we'll wait on that, and we'll listen to that too, and we can't wait to hear that. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm gonna talk about it, man. Like I said, I try to be as fair as objective as possible, but those are just my thoughts. All right. Till next time. Peace.